As I've talked with worship leaders around the country, one of the big questions that I get asked a lot is about handling conflict among team members. It seems to be an ongoing problem that every worship leader has faced at some point, and some a lot more than others even. And so when I talked with David Hampton, and was interviewing him, I know he had been part of a larger church and had a lot of people, and so obviously there's more chance of that happening. So I asked him, how do you handle that? What's the best way? And he had an answer that was different than a lot of people that I've asked that question. And so I want you to give a listen to what he said.
I would deal with conflict among the other musicians and team members with kind of the buck stops here. I get to decide, this is where we're going. I hear you. I want to hear from you. But at the end of the day, I've got to make a hard decision or make a decision. And so it'll be up to me. But I want you to hear that I want to know how you feel. And even when you're at odds with someone else, I want to know how that can be worked out. We did a lot of... I don't want to call it damage control necessarily, but it is, and conflict resolution in some ways, and mediation in some ways, and sometimes it made the trip, and sometimes it didn't, and sometimes we lost people, and people that I loved went on and moved on, and you wish them well and hope that they are able to serve in a great capacity wherever they find themselves to land, but. At the end of the day, you have to make really hard decisions sometimes when there's a lot of conflict. And there's always conflict because everybody's human.
There's always conflict because everybody's human. Great statement. But it's true. And so you're always going to run into that. But I do appreciate what David had to say here in talking about the buck has to stop with somebody. Somebody has to make the decision of what to do in this situation. And I'm not saying you should... wield your power like some, mad king or something like that, all right? But I am saying that at some point, a leader has to decide what's going to happen in this situation. I've said numerous times in these videos, there are certain things that many people are really not comfortable with in the whole arena of being a leader. And this could be one of those for you. Maybe you don't like having to make that decision, but as a leader, there are certain things that simply come with the territory, certain things that you have to do. And so I want to encourage you, if you're dealing with some kind of conflict, do everything that you can to take care of it. But at some point, if it just keeps going, at some point, you're going to have to do something about it as a leader. It's the only way that the team, long-term, can really be healthy. And so I just want you to consider that today. Maybe it's not something you're dealing with right now, but maybe something in the future that you'll need to. You need to recognize that at some point, you may have to make a decision of what to do with that situation.
Brought to you by myworshipleadingcoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.